Good afternoon, traders and investors. It's Will back here with another one. Well, guys, we got some nice news today on the NFP Jobs report, so we're going to take a look on that. We also got some mixed news on Tesla, which caused the stock to tumble about 5%. And also, we are going to obviously go over our major indexes, our major tech names, and the monthly closes are in, guys. So we're going to take a quick look at our monthly candle formations and how the longer term charts look. And I'm also going to give you guys a little preview here into a video I will be dropping tomorrow, courtesy of one of our subscribers here, Nathan. I appreciate all the daily updates. I'm wondering if you could do some analysis on SPGI. So not only, Nathan, are we going to do SPGI, but we're going to do several of the largest players in the space, SPGI's competitors, right? Just to put them on a quick glance for you guys, right? Really quickly, preview for tomorrow's video here. So up on this Yahoo Finance chart, I've pulled up the charts for the last 10 years here for a few companies. You'll see that the S&P 500, this blue line down here, your light blue line right here is S&P Global, SPGI. I also have a few of its competitors, BlackRock, which is this purple line down here matching up with the SPY. We also have MSCI, one of my favorite companies in the entire stock market. This pink line right here, some massive outperformance by them. No surprise there. And you can see, guys, that a few of these companies in relation to QQQ even, right, technology, a few of these, namely SPGI and MSCI Global, have actually been outperforming technology on the last 10 years. And over the last 5 years, it's pretty much the same, right? You can see MSCI outperforming the bunch, and QQQ has been outperforming the rest, but very close second by SPGI and pretty much BlackRock all the way down here. But BlackRock representing some decent value in my opinion. So tomorrow I will be dropping a long form video analyzing those three companies plus the one that I have been buying regularly here. Well, not so regularly, just 2 times so far over the last month, which is Public Storage, which also represents a very decent player in the whole financials industry. They're not directly a financial company. They're more of a real estate investment trust, but I do find that there is some good value there. So we're going to pretty much line them up, compare them all, and see which one comes up on top. Now, let's get into our jobs report first here, guys. So non-farm payrolls, big drop here today, guys. As you can see, U.S. economy added 187,000 jobs in August. Very, very decent compared to the downwardly revised 157,000 in July and more than these current market expectations of 170. So we were expecting 170 for today, got 187. Still, it was the third consecutive month with job gains falling below the $200,000 threshold here, indicating a gradual easing of labor market conditions, largely attributed to the Federal Reserve's significant interest rate hikes. So this is what aimed at cooling inflation down. This is what the Fed wants. They want the jobs market to cool down ever so slightly, and they also want the economy to be cooling down ever so slightly. We got some GDP numbers in the past 2 weeks, which also hints that the economy's slowing, but is still healthy, aka the Fed's policy is working. They are threading the needle, guys, with their aggressive rate hikes and now tapering off the speed of those rate hikes. They've really played an almost perfect hand. You can argue that they were a bit late to the ball game in terms of raising rates after initial inflation at the end of 2021 and early 2022, but they're getting the job done, and the economy is not reacting in the disastrous fashion that a lot of people would have hoped on the bearish side that it would have played out to be, right? So good news report here on jobs market cooling, but not so much that the employment rate is skyrocketing. So that is exactly what you want to see, guys. It's coming down, but it's not getting destroyed. That's the moral of the story. So very healthy jobs report. Now, let's get into our major indexes here, yeah? So S&P 500 etching out a little gain here today, 0.19% to the upside. QQQ slightly down, and a lot of our major other indexes with some decent green movement on financials and especially our growth stocks. So if you take a look at the heat map here for the day, you will see that most of our market was green, but we did have some negative performance here by Broadcom and Tesla, pretty much dragging down some of the technology stocks here. But as a whole, guys, fairly healthy market for the day here. You'll see on a one-day relative as well that most of your major indexes here were in the green, led by energy, and a few in the red here, led by communication services, utilities, and defensive. On the 1 week relative, guys, everything positive except for defensives and utilities. So decent week as a whole on the markets. And you can see this daily chart that I have pulled up here, guys. The daily bounce is still underway. Now, we gave a lot of it back today here, but still able to put in a higher high than yesterday. So your daily bounce continues as the bulls put more and more space since our recent low here. That is what you want to see on the weekly. That contributes here to taking back more and more of this weekly downside movement, which is exactly what you want to see, guys. The bulls are looking very healthy here, if I do say so myself. So on the daily, what are we looking for? Classic daily uptrend. Once this move tops out, we are looking for a pullback. Anything above 435.40 is just going to be your daily high or low. I would target the moving averages as your next area of likely support. They also line up pretty well with this whole area. Support, resistance, and now should act as support. So nice little confluence down here in this little 445 pocket here. Very good. On the monthly, guys, how did we close on the monthly yesterday? Well, monthly looking very healthy after we got our monthly uptrend breakout. Monthly bull flag potentially for August and maybe early September here. If we continue to dip potentially in early September, I'll remind you, if we get a slight pullback here on the daily, that will contribute for this monthly candle to tend slightly to the downside. But moral of the story is bulls are in absolute full control of these longer time frames. So as I've been saying on the channel here for the past 2 months, if August and September are to be negative months with seasonality and with all the negative catalysts that we got hit with recently, credit downgrades, etc., well, this is just a monthly bull flag, guys, for future continuation to the upside. Q3, Q4 should be pretty good. So we're going to keep an eye on this closely. We're going to take this one day at a time, which is the motto of the channel. QQQ also pushing to the upside. Higher high again. So this daily bounce is still underway. Same as SPY, anything above 359 pretty much is just going to be looking for a daily higher low. Daily bulls in full control. Look for your moving averages, little area here of support. So that is going to be the area targeting once this daily move tops out, potentially if it happens next week. On the daily, not overbought yet, and on the lower time frames, neither. No longer overbought, although we did have a decent 4-hour pullback here. But even on the 4-hour, guys, just looking for a 4-hour higher low, anything above 373 for that potential continuation, not giving up the 4-hour moving averages either. So looking quite healthy, guys. On the monthly, how did we close? Same thing as SPY, right? QQQ never actually setting the monthly uptrend in motion. They will still have to set this. So currently, with August and potentially September little pullback, monthly bull flag, looking for a monthly higher low, guys. Anything above 261 is going to be a monthly higher low for further continuation. We are somewhat still above the moving averages here. It's going to take us a lot of downside momentum here to actually reach these moving averages. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't even reach them and just potentially set a monthly bull flag before resuming higher. You can see that we don't necessarily need to tag the 12 EMA on the monthly all the time. The QQQ and SPY can last above this moving average for quite some time here, even setting a nice little bull flag for future continuation. So bulls now have created a decent amount of space, guys. On the weekly, you will see now that how much have they taken back of this move, guys? A lot of this move has been taken back at this point, right? Over 80% has been taken back. So it's going to be very hard for the bears to flush this in one clean down swing, right? That's what the probabilities say. XLF Financials doing also a great job here of negating yesterday's negativity and continuing our push to the upside here, guys. So we are still, this is one single move. Even despite yesterday's trading, I do still argue that this is one single leg up here. So once this move tops out, we are looking for your daily higher low. Anything still above 3360 is just going to be looking for a daily higher low. Moving average support, we saw it act yesterday as support here as well. So don't be surprised, guys, if we do pull back, this whole area is going to act as decent support. Just looking for the bulls to recapture that daily uptrend. On the weekly, looking very healthy as well with this weekly bounce pretty much underway, despite not having set the daily uptrend here. Anything above 3252 is just your weekly higher low. I would 90% say, guys, at this point, that this is now your new weekly higher low. Resistance stays put now at 3550 and all the way up to our 3637 area of range here, which we haven't been able to break through since pretty much February and March. On the monthly, XLF looking somewhat decent, guys. This is a monthly tightening range, right? So we're still looking to tighten up. currently above our little moving averages right here as well. So XLF not looking too bad at all, guys. I would not be surprised if we do get some further continuation. The bulls right now are looking to set the monthly higher lows and potentially smash above. This is a monthly bull flag as well. Anything above 31.27 is just going to be for your monthly higher low for potential continuation. So the bulls are in the process of setting up a monthly trend change, which is now arguably like a year in the making, right, guys? So we're going to keep a close eye on that. But XLF bulls putting in a very decent amount of space from the bottoms here to set up for that daily trend change. So keep an eye. XLV Healthcare. XLV Healthcare, a bit of an inside candle here from yesterday's trading. Even though it ended green, red candle on a green day. That's because we gapped up and then pulled back for the rest of the day here. But still in this tightening range here. The bulls are trying to save this area. 132.41 is going to be your key area. We're looking for the daily higher low at this point. I need to see the bulls next week put in some good move to the upside here. But for now, still trapped in this tightening range. We will see how it plays out. I do not want to see a break of the 132.40 area, guys. That would be very, very bad. On the weekly, we are still just tightening up here. Very, very beautiful weekly tightening range above our moving averages acting as support here. So I still do have that bullish lean ever since breaking out pretty much of this weekly bull flag and tightening range here, right? So very, very good on the monthly as well. Monthly closed yesterday. Monthly also with a bullish lean here. Monthly tightening range as well. We're looking for the breakout to the upside, trading above our moving averages as well. So I do have a bullish lean on this, guys. Even though we are trading within this disgusting range here, I would not be surprised if the bulls are able to actually hold out and tighten this up a bit further, accumulate, and potentially break to the upside here as healthcare could put in some decent gains. IWM Russell now. IWM Russell bounce. Very nice size on this bounce now. You remember me saying that I wasn't satisfied while S&P and QQQ have been bouncing now for the better part of the last 2 weeks. IWM Russell only really got it started this week. Look, this is Monday through Friday of this week. Absolutely putting in a very beautiful move, guys. Anything above 181.77 is just going to be looking now for your daily higher low. Bulls have created a lot of space and you love to see it, guys. So we are potentially set up for the daily trend change. Once again, look for your moving averages. MACD now curling nicely at the bottom of our chart here. You can see that down here. So what are we looking for on the weekly? Weekly has always been looking for a weekly higher low. Anything above 180.5 was for your weekly higher low until the bulls set the daily uptrend. I can't call this on a technical basis the weekly uptrend, but similar to other things, I'm 90% certain now that your weekly higher low is set. And we're just going to look for the bulls to take back as much of this move as possible. But bulls putting in some good movement here, guys. Even on the weekly, you put the fib on this, right? How much of the move have they taken back? Well, we're almost up to 61.8%. So bulls not quite safe yet, but putting in some very good space. On the monthly, what are we looking for here, guys? Monthly, bulls trying to set the monthly higher lows for potential reversal to a monthly uptrend. We've been trapped in this range ever since pretty much the same time last year, right? So over a year, we've been trapped in this monthly accumulation zone here. Now the bulls are trying for the monthly trend change to the upside. That will only happen if we can really start breaking this area of here. It's going to be crucial because if we now snap this area here in the next few weeks here, in the next month, we crack 200, your monthly uptrend is now going to be set. And a lot of your growth stocks are going to start running. Dow Jones. Dow Jones here. Very decent day on the Dow Jones as well. Inside candle from yesterday's trading. So the bulls not losing too much ground, putting in a green day, but red candle. Same thing. Gap up open and then just gave it back, right? So bulls setting up nicely, going for the daily trend change, guys. You see how these moving averages are reacting, and we have our horizontal support line right here, right? Massive support area that's been acting in the past, right? So bulls, a lot of space, guys. Anything still above 34,000 is going for the daily higher low, potential daily trend change in motion here. Weekly looking good. Anything above 33,700 was just for your weekly higher low. So the bulls, not safe yet, but setting up for potential continuation of your weekly uptrend. We'll see next week, and the week after are going to be crucial for this. On the monthly, what are we going for here? Monthly breakout as well, right? We're going for the monthly continuation of this uptrend. They set the monthly uptrend here back in July, right? Monthly uptrend was confirmed. At this point, we're looking for the monthly higher low, sit on this support, and potentially rise, guys. Continuation of this monthly uptrend would be no joke for value names. Value names have been performing quite well recently, so I wouldn't be surprised that the tail end of 2023 is going to be no different. Value names watch out, guys, because they could put in some very, very decent gains for the remainder of the year here. So now looking at Bitcoin, guys, Bitcoin getting absolutely destroyed here, as you guys can see, right? Giving back all the gains, ETF news going back and forth, back and forth. Well, now, unfortunately, going back down here and Bitcoin approaching a crucial level. Not able to flush our most recent lows here. Bulls putting in some decent amount of defense here, but I don't like it, guys. We're getting very, very close to our line in the sand level here. This is for your weekly higher low. Bears now taking back way too much of that move here. And I'll remind you here, also on the monthly, guys, in risk of losing your monthly uptrend as well. Monthly uptrend was set with this candle right here back in July, but we've given back almost all the gains. And if I zoom in here, you'll see how close we are to this line in the sand level, 24,700. Huge level in my opinion. Bulls need to do a lot of work, but crypto just not in favor. I don't like it. Full disclaimer, I am still holding my long-term Bitcoin, but I'm not adding to the position, guys. I don't like how low volume has been. Bitcoin and crypto as a whole has been out of favor now for a better part of the last year, and that doesn't seem to want to change soon. So we're going to keep an eye on it, but bulls definitely with a lot of work to do here, guys, to potentially reverse these time frames here, both daily and weekly. Looking at Apple here, Apple with some beautiful continuation here, continuing higher on the day, 0.85%, right? So now we've put in a ton of space above our most recent low of 176.13, right? So whenever this move does top out here, we are going to be looking for a daily higher low. We have some beautiful confluence of our moving averages and our previous resistance area, which will now be acting as support. So look for this little 183 pocket if ever we do pull back. We're now almost covered the earnings move as well, right? So Apple, very, very decent movement. And I really like how much of this weekly move down Apple bulls have taken back now at this point, right? If we put the fib on this, guys, just to check, right? Apple has now taken back pretty much almost 80% of this entire move. So it's going to get very, very hard for the bears to just clean flush this in one single try, right? So I really like the size of this bounce on the weekly for Apple. Keep in mind, we were always looking for a higher low, anything above 160. So we'll see if Apple can V-shape this and do it in one shot, or if they encounter previous resistance at our previous all-time highs and have to maybe two-step with this, right? But look on the monthly, guys. Monthly, Apple looking absolutely gorgeous, right? Beautiful monster move up on the monthly. Monthly consolidation here in August. And now we'll see, even if September pulls back ever so slightly here, this is a monthly bull flag. All we're looking for here is a monthly higher low for further continuation. We'll see if we get back to our previous August lows here, but looking very good for continuation. Where is it bouncing off of, guys? My sweet spot area, which is our previous all-time high resistance, right? So it's going to be very tough, in my opinion, for the bears to get through this. Monthly higher lows are being searched for here for monthly continuation of the upside. So monthly bulls in full control on Apple. Apple weekly bulls also looking very, very healthy. And on the daily, we're just waiting for this daily move to top out, and daily bulls as well are still in control. AMD doing exactly what I wanted them to do here, guys. Getting back above our 12 EMA, which is this yellow line right here, getting back above our previous support level here as well, which is the 107, right? So very, very happy how much of this move down the bulls have been able to recapture. It's taken them roughly 6 days to do it, but I really like the size of this bounce, guys. Whenever this move tops out, we get some pullback. We're looking for a higher low, anything above 99.60 to be a likely result of that. I really like how much of the move the bulls have taken back. Once again, it leads me to believe that any single dip is going to be bought for potential daily trend change to the bulls. As well, on the weekly bulls are looking to play some solid defense here. How do we reverse this weekly downtrend? Well, it's going to take us to get as close as possible to the top end of this range here, 120, and then reset the weekly uptrend. So bulls still with a lot of work to do, but I'll reiterate on the monthly, guys. Monthly looking so healthy, right? Monthly uptrend is confirmed here. What is this entire movement over the past 3-4 months here? It's a monthly bull flag. Anything above 82 is just looking for a monthly higher low. Bulls playing some great defense here down in the EMA zone, down in my previous sweet spot zone as well, which is this green box, little green box right here, right? So we'll see how the bulls do this, but very, very healthy on the higher time frames. Really have to give it to the bulls here. They're playing some solid defense in this little pocket zone right here. AMD still representing some very good risk to reward back to all-time highs. Still roughly about 33% off all-time highs. Definitely one of my favorite semiconductor plays for now. But bulls just need to recapture first the daily and the weekly, right? But the monthly, guys, is looking extremely healthy. This is very healthy consolidation. Now let's look at Amazon here. Amazon doing very, very well indeed as well, right? Only up 0.08%, but we did put in a higher high in relation to yesterday's trading. So now Amazon putting in a bunch of space here, but between our previous lows, right? 130.72, 131-ish. So any move down is going to be for a higher low for potential continuation to the upside. Daily uptrend is to the bulls now at this point, and we have some beautiful confluence. If ever we do pull back, I do think it's going to be tough for the bears to crack this area here. We have our moving averages as support, and this whole little range here between these two yellow lines is going to act as fairly decent support for the bulls here. So very, very, very good job here. And I'll remind you here, Amazon on the daily, bull control. On the weekly as well, bull control. Weekly higher low is set. Your new weekly higher low, 130.5, right? So very, very nice movement here, recapturing the weekly uptrend as well. Well, just continuation of the weekly uptrend as a matter of fact. So we have to look higher, guys. Where is higher? Look on the monthly here. Where are we going? We're going all the way back potentially. Sorry, first stop is going to be our 145 level here. Monthly chart looking very, very, very healthy. Amazon not offering much monthly consolidation whatsoever so far. But keep in mind, Amazon is still one of our major tech names that's still decently down off of all-time highs, roughly 27%, representing some good risk reward in relation to other tech names such as Apple and Microsoft that are very close to our all-time highs, or NVIDIA for that matter, right? So we're going to keep an eye on this, guys, but no red flags on Amazon monthly bulls. Full control, weekly bulls, full control, and now daily bulls, full control. No red flags on Amazon whatsoever here. Now let's go down to Google. Google as well on the daily looking very, very good, putting in a higher high than yesterday's high and then pulling back on the day. So we ended up with a little bit of negative here today, but very good spacing here, guys. Anything above 128, I'll remind you, is just going to be for a daily higher low. When this move tops up, looking for a daily higher low, and we have this whole area of previous resistance that's now going to act as pretty decent support. And look, we have confluence here with the moving average as well. So this whole little 133 pocket is going to be a good area of defense if ever the bulls do need to pull back here. But daily bulls in full control. Let's look at the weekly. Weekly bulls also full control of this weekly uptrend, right? Weekly higher low is now set. 128, same area, nice little confluence with the 12 EMA as well, right? So the bears, if they want to reverse this, they have a lot of work cut out for them, right, guys? So weekly bulls in full control, no red flags here whatsoever. And monthly also similar to Amazon, guys, the bulls are not giving back much of anything, right? Monthly uptrend is now fully confirmed and fully underway. Anything above 116 is just going to be looking, if ever we pull back, for a monthly higher low. So tons of space, guys. Daily bulls control, weekly bulls control, monthly bulls control. We have to look higher. Where is higher? 145 all the way up to your 150 area of resistance, all-time highs on Google. Very, very close now, guys. Off the all-time highs, Google only about 10% off your all-time highs, right? So very good performance by Google. No red flags whatsoever on this stock. Now let's look into Meta. Meta, very, Meta. Sorry guys, I'm laughing here because Meta is struggling so much with this 300 psychological resistance, right? Not able to break it and close above. We did trade above it a few times here, ever so slightly in the past few days, but I would like to see the bulls put in more of a move here. Yes, we're above our moving averages. Yes, we're above our previous line of previous resistance, which is now support, right? And we're trading above those, but not a convincing move enough, in my opinion here. We've put in a decent amount of space since our 276 low here, so any pullback can be argued that we're looking for a daily higher low for further continuation, but it's just not as looking as strong as something like, let's say, Apple is, right? So that's it for the daily. I need to see the bulls create a bit more space, but we do have a lot of area here to work with. If ever we pull back, could just have to two-step this, right? But daily trend change is pretty much confirmed to the bulls. The weekly as well is looking pretty good. I'll remind you, anything above 206 was looking for your weekly higher low. And until the bulls confirm the daily uptrend in a more convincing fashion, I can't already say the weekly higher low is set, but I'm pretty much 90% there, guys. So the bulls have put in some decent work. This move down was not that big of a move in relation to the size of the upswing here. So it's very possible that if the bulls start ramping it up here, that they can get back up to our 52-week highs. Have a bit of work to do still, but it's nice that we played some good defense here at our previous area of support, horizontal line, and our weekly 12 EMA. So weekly bulls not looking too bad at all, if I do say so myself. And on the monthly bull flag, guys, right? Maybe one, even if the month of September is pretty much flat or a non-event, this is a monthly bull flag for potential future continuation, right? Monthly bulls are in absolute complete control, guys. Anything above 93, any pullback is just for a monthly high or low. No matter how hard we dip here, there's so much room, guys, right? So much room. So any dips for a longer term portfolio dip buyer here are for buying. No red flags. Meta has turned around their business. Great cost control. They've upped margins back to what they were. Advertising business is doing absolutely amazing. No red flags from Meta whatsoever here. So bulls in full control of the longer time frames. You love to see it. Microsoft, similar to Meta, not able to convincingly change the daily uptrend. Still have not broken 333. I need to see a break of 333 by Microsoft here to confirm the daily trend change. The size of this move is decent, but you can see it took 6 days to not even recapture the day after NVIDIA's earnings here. So I need to see a better move by the bulls, need to see crack of 333 for me to be confident to say that the bulls have really recaptured our daily uptrend here. But Microsoft moving decently. The one thing that I'll say about Microsoft and Meta, however, is in relation to the size of this move here, guys, the bulls in 2 weeks have not captured that much. Take a look at SPY. SPY recapturing a decent amount here. QQQ recapturing a decent amount here. But Microsoft is now lagging the move, so they have not participated much in this rally whatsoever. So I need to see the bulls over the next few weeks start to recapture a lot of this weekly move. Yes, our weekly high or low was anything above 276.40. So once they prove to me that the daily uptrend is set, I'll be able to say this is your new weekly high or low, and we're due for weekly continuation. We'll see if Microsoft bulls can get it done in one shot or if they have to potentially two-step this. But keep in mind, Microsoft is close to our all-time high area. Zooming out to the monthly here. Monthly bulls, just looking for a monthly high or low, guys. Monthly bull flag. Bulls are in full control of this chart here. You can see that even if we pull back a bit into September here, the bulls are looking great. They are pretty much sitting here on our little support area here, which is near the previous all-time highs as well here, but so much space for the bulls to work with here, guys. No red flags on Microsoft. Microsoft is an extremely solid business. No red flags in their business whatsoever. Profitability is amazing. Their new AI cloud software suite as well with recurring revenue is going to really give them a lot of juicy premium here in the next couple of years. So I'm really not worried for Microsoft whatsoever. Let's move on to NVIDIA here. NVIDIA, right? Negative on the day, but still holding up fairly decently. Yes, they gave back a little. Yes, they were not able to confirm here our daily trend change continuation off of today's candle. I'll remind you, we need to crack 503 pretty much. Crack 503 and the daily uptrend is well underway. There's a good possibility that we may just tighten up potentially. NVIDIA has tightened up a few times at the all-time highs before, right? It's done this a few times already. You can see this where it just tightens up, accumulates, and then breaks. So here may be similar to where we just maybe accumulate here and break. I like how high the bulls are holding, right? Even with the negative things that have happened in the past 2 weeks in the markets here, NVIDIA has really held strong. On the weekly, looking very, very, very solid here, guys. Weekly uptrend reconfirmed to the bulls. Anything above 404 is just looking for a weekly lower high. Tons of space for the bulls to work with here, right? So they do control the daily. They do control the weekly. And let's look on the monthly, guys. Monthly, I mean, guys, this is absolutely ridiculous, right? Full control of the monthly. So even if we do pull back or move sideways here for a month or two, while NVIDIA kind of grows into its current valuation, right, which is very, very, very possible. It's done it a few times in the past where we've kind of had a massive up move and then it just kind of sits sideways and grows into the valuation before another monstrous rip. Well, it may have to do something like this. We'll take it one day at a time, but I'm just here to say that the monthly bulls are in full control of this chart. So similar to Meta, any pullback here is for long-term dip buying, maybe not short-term dip buying. And I'm looking personally for the monthly dip potentially on NVIDIA to happen here. I need some monthly consolidation to make me open a position on this stock. Obviously, opening a position on this stock at these levels are risky. So if ever I do, I'd much rather do it on AMD, guys. I know NVIDIA is the industry leader and they're cornering the market with their new expansion here, but if I ever want to open a position on NVIDIA, guys, I need to see at least a bit of monthly consolidation here, and we're just not getting it. But all that to say, monthly bulls, full control of longer time frames, no red flags on NVIDIA whatsoever. And now Tesla, we're going to take a look at Tesla here, guys. Tesla down 5% on the day off of some FUD. So what exactly happened on Tesla today? Well, I'll show you here, right? Tesla gave the Model 3 a makeover and cut the price of full self-driving by $3,000. So full self-driving represents one of their best margins in terms of offerings, right? So whenever they sell an FSD, it costs them almost literally to nothing because it's only software, but they reduce the price from 15,000 to 12,000. So that obviously does take a little bit of a hit in their margins. Where did the FUD come from, right? I'll explain. The new version with sleeker headlights and a new rear display will cost 12% more in China. So they're increasing the price of the Model 3. So where's the FUD, right? The FUD comes from the reduction in the price of full self-driving, but also all the way down here, Tesla again reduced the price of its more expensive cars in China, with the Model X slashed by 18% to 102,000 and the Model S cut by 14% to 96,000. So Tesla has now cut the price of its vehicles 4 or 5 times. These Model S and X's have been cut 4 or 5 times, not only in China, but across different markets, across Europe and North America as well, this same year, right? So the FUD is coming from the fact that they cut the prices in FSD, Model S, and Model S. It completely disregarded the fact that they increased the price of the Model 3 in China. Why is this significant, guys? Well, I'll show you, and you'll be able to see for yourself, right? This is the chart for the Tesla vehicles delivered between the first quarter of 2020 and the second quarter of 2023. So everything we have to date in the last 3 years. The blue on this bar chart here is deliveries of Model 3 and Y. And this tiny little black section here are deliveries of Model S and X. So I'll ask you guys a question, right? In your opinion, what's more important? A price increase of 12% for their best-selling model, which represents almost 95, 3 and Y represent almost 95% of Tesla's entire deliveries every single quarter? Or is it more important that they reduce the price of the Model S's and X's? It's pretty obvious, right? So a boost in the price of 95% of its vehicles sold is obviously going to contribute better to margins than reducing the prices of the ones that they don't sell a lot of, right? So in my opinion here, guys, a lot of an overreaction from Wall Street, probably some algorithmic selling here. People just not understanding the news. It was interpreted as bearish, but really not bearish at all, in my opinion. This was more of a technical pullback than anything, right? Tesla was very extended here, especially on the short-term time frames. You can see 4 hour was in the overbought area. We were looking potentially for the 1 hour to get reversed here as well. So the 1 hour did get reversed, but what does this whole thing mean, right, guys? Daily uptrend was confirmed by Tesla here. We were saying that whenever this move tops out, any pullback is just for a daily higher low above 228. Daily uptrend is confirmed. We were looking for the higher low, and now we got a nice little red day here, which in my opinion is definitely an opportunity for buying, especially considering the size of this daily uptrend here. So very, very, very decent pullback here for Tesla, but playing some good defense here at our moving averages 12 and 26, right? On the weekly, what does it look like as well? Weekly, we did take back a decent portion of this move, guys. If I throw the fib on it here, right? From top to bottom here, you'll see that at the top of this candle, we pretty much took back, I would say, about 57% of this entire move down. So the bulls created some nice space on the weekly. It sucks that we get a candle formation like this with today's news, because if not, this candle would have closed. If there would have been no news, or let's say Monday, well, we would have got a nice green candle here, and then the weekly pullback would have happened next week, right? But unfortunately, that's just how the cookie crumbles. Tesla is no stranger. You can see even after weekly candle formations like this, we can still grind higher in the next following weeks as well, right? So Tesla, although it's not a very good candle formation, it doesn't say that the chart is necessarily going to plunge to weekly lower lows. No red flags on Tesla, in my opinion, right now. Q3 and Q4 are some of Tesla's best quarters here, and I don't expect that to stop anytime soon here. So even if we do pull back on the weekly here, guys, bulls are just going for the weekly trend change as well, right? Any dip, in my opinion, is for buying. The bulls have put in a decent amount of space here, and I wouldn't be surprised if over the remainder of the year, we can come back and slash this 52-week high here to the upside here. Monthly says it all. Monthly uptrend, we were just looking for a monthly higher low. Anything above pretty much 152 was just looking out for a monthly higher low. Great moving average support down here, all the way in the 235 range. We do have my sweet spot, which is previous resistance, which is now going to act as decent support as well. So monthly pullback, and look at this candle formation last month, right? This candle formation is arguably a lot more important than the weekly one that we just had. So very, very good price movement by Tesla here. I do expect them to be able to capitalize on this monthly bull flag here and push higher for the remainder of the year here, cracking our 300 level that we hit earlier this year. So decent little pullback on Tesla, and I did take advantage of it for removing my covered calls. I'll show you that, guys, in a bit. Now, let's look at Palantir here. Palantir, I mean, 1.34% to the upside, but you can barely see it after yesterday's negative price action, right? So Palantir daily bulls are in full control. We're still just looking for that daily higher low. Anything above 1393 is just for a pullback for a daily higher low here. So will remain to be seen, guys, next week if we can push back above our 1636 and maintain this daily uptrend so that on the weekly, we can start recapturing more and more of this move, guys. Not really satisfied with how much of the move the bulls have captured so far. It's only been 2 weeks, right? But Palantir also is no stranger to these doji candles. You can see doji candle right here, pushed higher. Doji candle right here, pushed higher, right? So Palantir can do it as well. The weekly candle closes. Sometimes Palantir can just negate them completely and continue pushing higher, but it's definitely good that we did hold this 1360 area. Remains to be seen if that'll be the case still. And on the monthly chart here, guys, monthly looking very healthy. Anything above 733 is just for a monthly higher low. August provided some very decent pullback here, so we are currently setting our monthly higher lows. Even if September does dip a little bit, these dips are, in my opinion, for long-term buying. And don't forget Palantir, if they deliver 2 more positive quarters here, they could be eligible for S&P 500 inclusion here. Very, very big news, potentially later down in the year. My sweet spot does remain between $13 and $12. So if we do pull back here, I will be looking to average into Palantir as to increase my long-term position here, right? So keep an eye on that. Monthly bulls in full control. Weekly bulls still have some proving to do here to push more into this move, reset the weekly uptrend to the upside. And daily bulls, I need to see them really push back into these highs here to really get this weekly move bounce higher, okay? And lastly, PayPal, before we go into my portfolio. PayPal on the daily here. PayPal yesterday, we were saying there was a risk here of potentially the bulls pulling back here for a daily higher low. But today, they stepped in and they said, nope, we're not done yet. So yesterday, never really cracked Wednesday's low or high, so it was a kind of an inside candle here. Daily upswing continues. Anything above 60 is just going to be looking. Whenever this move tops up, we're going to be looking for a daily higher low. The more space they create between this $60 range increases the probabilities that your daily uptrend will continue. We've now really engulfed this entire secondary daily leg down of selling here, so I like to see that. But on the weekly, I need to see them push a little bit higher here. On the weekly, I'm looking for the 2-step on PayPal, just like back here. So need to pull up here, potentially set the weekly higher low and move higher and start taking back a little bit of this earnings move. Looking for something like this to happen on PayPal. And on the monthly, we are still trying to find our monthly bottoms, right? So as soon as the bulls will be able to set a monthly uptrend here, looking, if they can crack 76, guys, you'll pretty much enter a new bullish monthly uptrend here, especially if they can get trend above. We haven't trended above the monthly 12 EMA here since all the way, it's almost coming up close on 2 years here. But what can I say about PayPal? PayPal is at time machine prices right now, so I'm really not upset about owning the stock down here. Represents some deep value in my opinion. PE ratio is low. Free cash flow is still very good. Business is still expanding here. International business is really doing good, right? So they have a lot of good things going for them here, guys. When I took a look at their earnings, I was really pleased with the way PayPal is delivering things. The one thing they need to do, though, is a bit more cost control here, guys. But PayPal looking fairly decent for the moment. We'll take it one day at a time. Would be fairly pleased next week if we can pull up here into the $65 range. And lastly, we're going to take a look at my portfolio. Jumping into the portfolio right now, guys, you can see that we did have a little bit of an up week today, but as of today, right, Tesla down move right here did contribute to a little bit of downside here as one of my positions was uncovered while the other remained covered. I have removed both of them now after this dip. So looking to ride Tesla stock to the upside, but closing the week at 40.32% for the week. S&P 500 up on the year, 17.4% here. And you'll see we're still outperforming the NASDAQ, but the NASDAQ is playing some good catch up on us, guys, right? 40.32 versus 35 pretty much for the NASDAQ here, but very, very good considering I have had a few drawdowns as well, and we have made a few portfolio withdrawals in the past here as well, withdrawn at least about 12-13% of the portfolio on the year, so really can't be mad with that performance so far, but I do expect to be able to juice this portfolio a lot leading into the last 3-4 months here of the year. Now, leading into my positions here, so BABA got called away here. Premium was not good enough for me to roll the calls. So I'll remind you, BABA, we are now back out of BABA here. I got assigned at $90. After 2 weeks of covered calls, we got our break-even cost all the way down to 86.84 down here. So now we got called away at 90. So we pocket this $315, right? So Baba, if we do pull back, I won't mind writing potentially more, but for now we just get called away and we pocket all that premium. Very good performance, guys. That's pretty much like almost 3% for the last 2 weeks of being assigned, right? So very, very happy about the performance on Baba. And now Nike as well. Nike 101s got called away on Nike. Nike closed above 101 as well. So it was very decent on Nike as well. 1% earned, just over 1% in 2 weeks pretty much. I got assigned on Nike last Friday pretty much. We wrote covered calls this Friday. So in 2 weeks of Nike, the premium received and the covered calls wrote, we got the break even down to 99.96, down from 101. So not that much, but still representing my 0.5% rule per week. Very, very happy on that. So we are called away on Nike here as well. So that disappears, frees up some buying power. Tesla, you can see that I've now removed my 227 calls here. 227 was the last one today. Removed one earlier in the week on Wednesday. A bit higher in the 250s. That's why we took a hit today. But now we are fully uncovered to the downside on Tesla. My covered calls now are above the stock. 250 and 257.5. You can see the premium received right here. So we will be looking to ride Tesla to the upside here. And lastly, we also have AMD here. AMD, the 103s, wrote them for around 51 cents earlier in the week here on Tuesday, I believe. And they were closed this morning for pretty much 3 cents. So we did pocket all that premium on AMD since AMD has well pushed above our 103 area here. It was a sweet spot wrote position here. So if AMD pulls back next week for any which reason, I will be looking to re-enter a position on AMD as well. So Baba disappears, Nike disappears, AMD disappears as well. Tesla, we're going to ride them a bit more. CSIQ, we are still in the CSIQ shares. The price of the shares is not high enough for me to be able to write covered calls on it now, but I'll remind you, stock price 28.30, my break even on CSIQ after writing covered calls for a bit is now 32.09. So not that far away, but still not as close as I would like to either, right? And lastly, my TMF position that I opened earlier this week, very small starter position, you can see already down on that. TMF representing some very, very juicy risk reward, guys. I think this is going to be a very nice position for the rest of the year and into next year as well. I only do these 3x levered plays when they're at the bottom of a cycle. And you can see the last time TMF was here, actually, it was never here, right? 10 years, almost 11 years, and TMF never really got down here. This is where I like starting positions on 3x levered positions. It's the same thing that I did with TQQQ when I bought TQQQ for my long-term portfolio, pretty much in this 3-month span down here when it was in the lower $20 range here. You really want to buy these things when they're at really cycle decade lows, right? Because I will never buy these things when they're starting to rally and whatnot, because a drawdown like we had in 2022 will absolutely destroy your gains. You can see TQQQ here, right, is still off the all-time highs, 54%, when the actual underlying QQQ is only like 10% off the 7% off the all-time highs, right? So you really need to clip these at the bottom end of a cycle and then ride them to the moon pretty much. So I will be averaging into this position. If we continue to drop here, guys, I will just build this position more and more. And eventually I will be also doing calls on them too to juice the rewards up to. I want to build a position worth a few $1,000s, maybe $4,000 or $5,000 total. And we're really going to look for the 2 to 3x here over the next 12 months. Right? So that is something I'm looking forward to. Very, very big play on 20-year bonds. If interest rates pause or Jerome Powell starts dropping them in the next 6 months, guys, watch out because this thing will fly. So that's pretty much everything that I had for you guys today. I hope you really enjoyed the video. If you did, consider liking the video. If you're new here, consider subscribing. And if ever you want me to look at something specifically, please drop me a comment. If you have a criticism or you want me to do something more on the channel, also leave it in the comments, guys. I really appreciate all of your engagement, right? So stay tuned for tomorrow's video, guys. It's going to be a very, very good one comparing SPGI, MSCI, and BlackRock, 3 of the best stocks in the entire market in their segment. Some of the best stocks in terms of total returns, guys, some of the best stocks in the market, period, right? So we're going to take a look at those tomorrow, and I will be making more videos in terms of like top 5 growth stocks, top 5 value stocks, stuff like that. I want to be doing more of that and celebrating 300 subscribers, guys. Thank you for all of the appreciation. I really enjoy it. So have a beautiful weekend. I'm signing out here. I'll catch you guys over the weekend with a few more videos here. And as always, take care and peace.